What's up, guys? This is Hans from the Eclectic Podcast, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Hasbro Power of the Primes Voyager class Grimlock. If any of you have followed this channel for any amount of time at all, you should know that I am a pretty big Dinobot fan, especially of Grimlock. When I heard that Hasbro was going to kind of re-release almost a G1 kind of deco combiner Dinobot set, I had to pick it up. Normally I don't review these type of figures, but I really wanted to take a look at this guy. As for the packaging, real quick, we'll take a look at that. So on the front of the box there, we do have the Generations logo, Transformers, Power of the Primes Grimlock. Nice little art of Grimlock stomping there, trampsing through. On the side of the box, we do have him in his combined form. I think they call him Volcanus or something like that, Volcanus. Something along those lines. Opposite side just shows you a bunch of stuff about the, I don't know what the hell those are. I guess those are the Primes and kind of their designs. Top of the box just says Power of the Primes, choose your Prime. And it's got a little window there that you really can't see anything with. Back of the box just says, how will legendary Dinobots later wield the power of the Primes? Question mark. I don't know what the hell that means. Then it's got, I guess, the feet for the combiner. The Dinobot Enigma changes in 8 steps. And then some stuff about the power armor. So we'll go ahead and we'll open this guy up and take a look at what's inside. Here he is out of the packaging, and he does look pretty good, especially in bot mode. Real quick, we'll take a look at everything that he comes with. So first up, we do have his instructions. Kind of shows you some of his different steps. That's not a transforming thing. I don't think that he comes with. So yeah, we got instructions for him. We do have his, I guess his collector's card, spec card, whatever. Basically the same kind of artwork we had on the front. I don't know what that symbol means. I guess it's something for the Dinobots. And there he is stomping somebody again. On the back, it just says Onyx Grimlock channels his willpower to the spark of other bots. Okay. We do have this thing here, which I suppose is his Primus thing. I don't know what the hell they call this thing. I don't know what it is, but it's cast in, I believe it's just silver plastic, and then it's got some nice red paint, I believe, in the middle there. Doesn't transform or anything like that. From what I understand, I mean, if you had any of the Titans Returns, this would have been almost like a Headmaster kind of thing, and this would have transformed into a bot. But since this is a new wave of figures they're doing, that's what this thing is. So, you know, whatever. I don't know what it does, but that's what it is. And then, of course, we have Dino Feet. 2 of them. 2 Dino Feet. They're pretty much identical. Can switch to either side. Ratcheted ankle tilts in there. So I guess whenever we get them into combiner mode, or once that happens, and by the way, for the combiner stuff, I will do that, but I'm going to show off the robots individually, and then once they're all released, I'll probably do a video just on the combiner. So another thing I guess that you can do with this Prime Armor stuff is that this piece here can plug into his foot. So back to Grimlock. I like how they've done almost like this throwback here where the gold and the kind of the clear plastic is still present. That's actually really cool, and that's, I mean, obviously if you know the G1 stuff, he had this gold with this clear plastic over the top, and I thought they did a pretty cool job with that. And like I said, I mean, he looks pretty much like you'd expect a Grimlock to look. We got some red paint picked out up here. Dino claws painted in gold. Got a little kind of a bronzish, goldish piece up there in the shoulder area. Nice Autobot logo there. Opposite side, same kind of thing that we were looking for with the paint. We got his red cod piece down in here. We got his Dino Feet, and instead of having some of the jewels, and I mean, I guess it's kind of cool. They put these stickers on here. And I wonder if Repro Labels will come out with something for him just to kind of snazz this up a little bit more. Because, I mean, as good as the stickers are, they could be a lot better. But Kind of breaks out some more of the feet. We do have more of that kind of that bronzish gold down here. So yeah, that looks pretty cool. Looking at him, like I said, first off, just kind of my initial impressions of looking at him is, I mean, he looks pretty spot on. Focus up there. He looks pretty spot on to his G1 heritage, you know, or the way that he should look. Some things I don't like, he's got, and Grimlock always has this, he's always got these super wide shoulders, but then he's got these really kind of smaller leg areas, you know, chicken legs going on. But this one is really bad. Like, there's no, they needed to kind of, I don't know if they needed to just kind of adjust those out to where they kind of increased in size more. When we look at him in his dino mode, we'll understand more about why that is. But that's kind of my initial takes on him. I think overall, this is pretty good. Real quick, we'll take a look at his head sculpt here. So let's get in close. That definitely looks like a Grimlock mug, for sure. It's really small. I know Grimlock is not the smartest member of the Autobots, but that is a tiny, tiny head for this body. But I do like how they kind of kept that G1 inspired, true to Grimlock look. If you know what I'm saying. I mean, that looks pretty spot on. They could have used a little bit more red paint, I think, in some of that, just to kind of increase some of that a little bit more than what we're getting there. But all in all, it's a good sculpt. I just wish the size was a little bit more. It is on a ball joint, I believe. So you get limited. I mean, you really don't get any up. You get a little bit down, and you go left and right. I don't know. You can almost do a full 360, but it gets caught up on some of the back kibble there. Articulation-wise, arms can do a full 360. We do have an upper bicep swivel, just right there at the base of the shoulder. He does have a double hinged elbow, which will allow it to get all the way up. We also have ratcheted in and outs on the fists, which is kind of weird, but okay. Same thing on the opposite side, nothing different there. Coming down, he does have a waist swivel, so that's kind of cool. We do have soft ratchets in the thighs. We have a swivel right at the upper knee. Ratcheted knees get you about 90 degrees. You can do the full Van Damme splits. And that's about it. Oh, let's see, front. He can be a chorus line girl. Real quick, take a look at his back section here. It's kind of what you'd expect from Grimlock. You got your dinosaur head. We do have his codpiece here for whenever we're going to go into combiner mode. We've got his little claws here, which also act as wings. Something that's kind of odd is these pieces here on the shoulders kind of get caught up on the wings, so you can't keep them as up front as you'd like, because I like them to kind of bulk out with the wings from the back, and that kind of prevents some of that sometimes. I mean, you can adjust it. You can definitely move those around to where you can get those in place, or vice versa, you know, get it either down or up so you can close that wing over it. But that's just my opinion on that. Like I said, for the most part, he cleans up pretty well in the back. I mean, it's dino kibble. It's what you expect Grimlock to be, but looks okay. I'm surprised that we did not get, this kind of tends to open up. I'm surprised we did not get a sword or a gun with him. Those are kind of the typical Grimlock weaponry, and we didn't get that at all. You can also peg these things on here, on his arms, I guess. Give him some fisticuffs. But whatever. I mean, that's dumb. But anyways, let's go ahead and we'll get this guy transformed, and we'll take a look at him in dino mode. Alright, transformation for Grimlock is not very difficult. This is kind of what we'd expect from a toy like this, especially with Grimlock. If you've transformed Grimlock before, it's going to be fairly intuitive. We'll go ahead and we'll start off by closing up these fists, and they just fold in. That one has a really tough time getting in there. Same thing with this side. Kind of bring those down. Straighten out those shoulders. And separate this. Just kind of move it down. Make sure those are straight. Before we get those all the way down, I don't know what that's doing there. Apparently that's part of the transformation thing. We can go ahead and we can close this up here. Close up his legs together. Just make sure they're nice and tight. Same thing with the tail, and just collapse that down. And then you can kind of adjust that a little bit as you want. As we bring these down, inside of here, I don't know if we can see this here. Inside of there, we've got this tab area, or this slot, and then down here on his thighs, we have a tab here that's going to peg into that. Just kind of work that down, kind of line that up. Just make sure that's nice and secure. Get his legs kind of however you want them. We'll close up the dino section, the upper torso section. Real easy. And then we'll just take his Grimlock head, and that will usually come tabbed together. And you want to separate that because that's got to cover up his combiner head. And then just click that down. You can adjust his head however you want it there. Move his legs to where it's a little bit more Dinobot-ish. And so there he is, all transformed. Like I said, it's pretty simple. If you've transformed Grimlock before, you kind of know what you're getting into. Not very difficult. And for the most part, if we don't take into account the tail, that looks pretty good. I'm not crazy about how these legs, how they bulk up. If we could have shrunk that down a little bit, or if they had a sliding joint in there. And then looking at them from the back, that's kind of a big old mess. You've got this gap here, and you can take this piece here, his cod piece for his bot mode, and slide that down for sure to kind of cover some of that up. Makes it look a little bit better. I don't know. Personal preference. I mean, that's up to you, however you want to do that. Like I said, I mean, that doesn't look horrible. The thing I don't like is this tail doesn't taper very well. That's why I said, I mean, we were looking at it in robot mode, this tail is such an issue because it should taper to the back. But they didn't do that because they don't do the collapsing leg backwards thing with him. Had they done that, that probably would have made quite a difference and probably would have looked better. But because it's a combiner, they had to make some sacrifices. So I kind of understand that. However, I'm not particularly fond of that. And looking at him head on, he's not horrible either, but his hips are really wide. Again, Grimlock is always kind of a funky figure to look at, but they did some things that I'm like, why? But whatever. You do have some nice stickering there from his wings. His arms are on ball joints, so you do get some movement around in there. That's kind of cool. Yeah, the same articulation on his legs that you had in bot mode, because obviously those are his arms. His head can move up and down. His mouth does open. And unfortunately, they didn't include a gun in there. They should have put, at least molded something in there that looked like a gun. There's no gun in there. So that's kind of odd. But they did do a good job on the Grimlock Sculpt. I mean, if you can look at that, if I just showed you this, right, just that right there, that's Grimlock. Definitively Grimlock. No eye color change thing or anything like that. So he's red-eyed. He's Angry Grimlock. Again, like I said, if Repro Labels comes out with a set of stickers for this guy, I would probably pick them up just to kind of see what they could do. Stickers can make a pretty big difference on something like this. I do like that they have even kind of the classic, almost like the rocket boosters on the side here. That's pretty damn cool. Yeah, you can't... Let's see. Yeah, you kind of get them in a running lizard pose, I suppose. But that's not how we know Grimlock to be. He's always been the big lumbering idiot. But anyways. So real quick, guys, in closing, if you were an 80s kid and you knew the Dinobots, and I'm sure if you're an 80s kid you did, this is a pretty good homage to them. They do a pretty good job of matching some of that 80s nostalgia with this figure. I'm kind of curious to see what the complete set's going to look like, and especially what the combiner is going to look like. Yeah, I recommend it. If you're an 80s fan, you like Transformers, go pick him up. Thank you for watching. Peace out, and we will talk to you soon.